free agency frenzy. A lot of players either being booted from teams at the end of contracts or in this terrible waiting position where they're just not elite enough to demand the market or command the market. And so you just got to wait to see where these pieces fall. So I wanted to get your thoughts, Dom, on the moves, the holes on teams, anything that you can share without breaking trust or NDA or anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's all like so there's the ones that should be pretty much confirmed. I mean, you have like the Jensen staying on TL, which is pretty much confirmed. Licorice confirmed that he's leaving C9. Then you have like the next step, which is like the things that are supposed to be are pretty much like most likely to happen. So Santorin to TL, I think that's really interesting. I think TL is going to be the number one team in NA when I see that roster. Like when you think about what C9 is going to look like with Licorice off of it, and then you compare it to Alphari, Santorin, Jensen, Tactical, Core JJ, like that right there is a fucking roster. And they paid for that shit. So I think that roster is going to be like the one to beat. TSM, I don't know if they're going to go through a rebuilding phase or what. The rumors are that Broken Blade's gone and that obviously Bjergsen announced he's retiring, so he's definitely gone. We're not sure what's happening with the bot lane. Licorice should be going to TSM, so that should be interesting. Essentially, for what I think TSM's plan is, they need a native top, which is the main reason for the removal of Broken Blade, and that would pretty much have to be either like Impact or Licorice. So I don't know. I think it's super interesting to see what's happening around the league, and I actually was really surprised that TL ended up upgrading their roster. From what people were saying beforehand was this team was just going to like, this was like the last hurrah, and then they were just going to like go with an affordable team from now on. But they just ended up going straight back in with the money.
Yep. I mean, they got the results to get them there, at least in the regular season. I don't know how that helps them financially to all of a sudden change the decision that they were at from, I guess, the plan going into this year where this was going to be the big money roster. Then they had to get cost effective. But Alphari and talks to come to TL sounds expensive. After also he shit on TL. He talked like smack at Worlds or after Worlds, and now he's about to accept the contract.
Yeah, that sort of feels weird. Yeah, the classic actually.
Yeah. I love when EU players just drop that like, oh, I would never go to NA, and then they're like, what about for $1 million? And they're like, in my country, I can live for the rest of my life off that, so I will go to NA. Like,
all of a sudden now you feel a little less bad for Kabe. Nah. I still feel bad for Kabe. That was
he didn't get paid like that, dude. You don't get paid like that for TSM. TSM's like, but you'll be part of TSM. We'll pay you an exposure.
Right.
Oh, sounds good. I can't wait to pay that exposure back.
Oh, but I think I talked about this on like Hotline League, right? That it feels like teams that can actually use that argument nowadays, it doesn't feel like it works anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially TSM.
Like it doesn't.
You can't say,
like
"Hey, come play." Well, I guess you can say, "Come play with Bjergsen." Now it's come play for Bjergsen.
Right. I mean,
still playing for Bjergsen.
There's someone in chat saying that it never worked, but that's obviously just it's actually untrue, because anytime that a TSM player in like season 3, 4, or 5 streamed, they just had thousands of viewers. Mm-hmm. Their fandom was just insane. So I have no idea what you're saying. The other thing is that LCS players, like top LCS player teams, used to just be able to stream and get a couple thousand viewers. It always used to be the case. But TSM was like the cream of the crop. They always had more viewership. They always had more Twitter impressions. Their Twitter growth, Instagram growth, everything used to grow. It doesn't happen anymore. Fnatic used to have it too, but now it doesn't feel like that anymore. It only feels like there's like one, or maybe, I don't know. Like in Korea right now, there's DRX. It seems like actually has this pull. Gen G doesn't seem to have this pull, although I might be wrong because some of the players stream on different services. Mm-hmm. So it's DRX and T1. Where if you're a part of either one of the orgs, you just have a lot of viewers apparently. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know how this affects contract perceptions and stuff.
Yeah. Hey, TSM fans, where are you at in Twitch chat? Why all of a sudden are you not supporting your players as much as you did before? So now you can't get as good of players at under cost value. Just kidding. Just wanted you to identify yourselves. You guys are idiots. It's your fault that your team sucks. All right. Let's see.
What the fuck do you got? That's fucked up.
I don't know. TSM, whatever. Especially now that Bjergsen's gone. Bjergsen was a consummate professional. We should take a second to celebrate his career, kind of think about his decision a little bit, and kind of contextualize what this means for TSM here on out. So we kind of touched a little bit on, hey, they're going to have to pay more and figure out what are they selling now to players to come over to play for TSM, especially when most recently the two players that did come over in Broken Blade and Kabe had less than favorable ends. Let's say that.
Is Broken Blade gone? Is that?
It's not confirmed.
It's not confirmed. But if that's the case, and we think the double "I love you" symbols mean that, well,
okay.
You know, that to me would be a very interesting, I think, outlook now. If you're a TSM, if TSM is trying to court you and you are from out of the country, out of the region.
Okay.
So because it's like it's a type of thing where like a lot of people kind of have these like agreements in place loosely, but they can't actually speak. A lot of the players don't actually have the opportunities to speak to other orgs yet until the deadline. So there's a lot of stuff that like is rumored that, you know, people will be like, oh, this is like 70%, 80% chance to happen, that, you know, once agents get a hold of the contracts or once they actually start talking money and buyouts and all that, maybe a lot of these things fall through. But the most likely scenario is that Broken Blade's no longer on TSM. So I guess that's what we'll just talk about and go with until we have you know, better knowledge of the entire situation.
So why is that? Because they're importing a mid laner, theoretically. They're importing a mid laner and then importing a what? Jungler? Support?
So I've heard that there's a lot of different options, but generally speaking, I think the mentality was, so the options were they either keep double lift and go mid and support imports, or they could move up cat evolved and then get bot lane just completely imported. I've heard that Biofrost is almost 100% gone, but the idea is mainly that you can find players that are comparable to Broken Blade that are native, whereas in the other roles you really can't as easily. So that's like why they're going for like this approach, or that's why this approach is rumored.
With OPL no longer taking up an import slot, I mean, if you're looking for someone to like maybe take on Bjergsen's mantle, I mean, Ryoma is no longer.
Okay, dude. You know, Papa Smithy left, right? Like he's still not here.
Hang on, someone add Papa Smithy. Is he still there? Papa? No, he's not there.
Oh wait, never mind.
He is. He came back. He came back. He knows. He knows.
He heard you talking shit. Jesus Christ.
I literally hit at Papa, didn't appear, and then came back. There he was. So there's even the OPL players that have had a lot of posts. I touched on it before. Friend of, I guess, all things good, Juves, was saying earlier he's trying to do a T1 or Twitch Rivals OPL-esque mix and match tournament so that people have footage of players. Still working on it. I mean, same thing with like pros trying to play on their own super server. Still in the works. Kinks to work out until free agency is over. So.